So,
Cool.
hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Crowing the Ship, a part of our Port Ancient Partnership Highlight series here at SASA, the Save Ancient Studies Alliance. With us today is archaeologist and producer Annelise. My name is Parthika and I'll be your SASA host today. Firstly, what is SASA? SASA stands for Save Ancient Studies Alliance. It works to promote the study of the ancient world and engagement with our human deeper past. Building a grassroots movement through outreach, collaboration, accessibility, and public scholarship, we work towards our goal of inspiring a wide, inclusive community of scholars, learners, and students. You can find us on all major social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and LinkedIn by just looking up Save Ancient Studies. A few housekeeping rules. Please be kind and respectful. Listen and ask thoughtful questions throughout the event. Please be patient with technology and those administering it. SASA Live events are live streamed on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. The recordings will be posted on the above platform shortly after the event. And most importantly, have fun. If you enjoy our live events, please consider becoming a supporter of SASA with a recurring monthly donation. For as little as $3 a month, you can help us save ancient studies. Go to saveancientstudies.org/donate to learn more. And thank you for joining us. Now, I will turn it over to our guest. If you could please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody out there. I am Annelise. I am an archaeologist and a producer. I am also on the internet a lot. And you might know me from TikTok, where I am Annelise the Archaeologist. And I post daily videos throughout the week on anything and everything ancient history and archaeology. And
So,
that's me.
Annalise, what sparked your interest in archaeology and history in general?
Like most people, I started off as a mythology child, and I don't exactly know how or why I found the mythology section at my local library, but I did. And I checked out books all the time, was reading all of them, ancient Greek mythology, that sort of thing. And then I found a book on Egyptian mythology, and that enchanted me, for lack of a better word. And that is what set me on the course that has led me to where I am now. And because it was the 90s and there weren't a lot of resources available for a precocious child who really, really liked ancient history, I did a lot of stuff on my own, did a lot of reading on my own and outside of school. And then when it finally came time to go to college, I was like, I'm going to be an archaeologist. I know exactly what degree programs I want to apply to. Let's do this. Let's get this going. And yeah, I got a BA in archaeology, and then I went on to get a master's in archaeology, which is actually, it was a fun hybrid program. It's actually archaeology for screen media. So it was literally a degree on how to make archaeological historical documentary shows. And that had me move to England for a year, which was amazing. And I got to work with the BBC and the Time Team crew. And here we are.
I mean, that's so interesting. So, could you discuss maybe some of the things that you, as a historian, are particularly interested in researching and like the basic topics that you would like to share with our audience?
My main area of being is the ancient Mediterranean, and it's basically the way I describe it, sort of like as an elevator pitch, is Egypt, Greece, and Rome, and friends, all their friends and neighbors, and everybody kind of in that general realm of the world. And then some other folks come in too, just to make things exciting. Like, I've spent a lot of time and done some work in England. So things happening in the general England, United Kingdom area also creep in from time to time. And then I've ended up doing research for work on topics that have taken me, at least in a reference sense, to Mesoamerica. So we can throw in some Aztec and Maya stuff just for fun, since I've spent a lot of time in those spaces researching and doing deep dives on all sorts of different topics for shows.
What would you say is your biggest source of motivation?
I think it's just I think these days it's kind of just me, because I see a lot of spaces and gaps where there could be really cool things happening, and I keep waiting for other people to fill those spaces and to do those things. But the reality is, most sort of noteworthy and archaeologists and figures of name, they're all full-time professors, so they're very busy, and then occasionally they will do these things. And so with that in mind, I realized there was sort of a perfect opportunity for me to sort of step in and fill in some of these gaps, just because the people who you would normally expect to see on television and documentaries, writing books, those people are very busy. They have a full course load every year. They're busy teachers. A lot of them are parents too. So I was like, I've got some time and I know how to do this, so might as well do it.
I mean, I find what you do so interesting. Like for in the Indian context, I'll tell you. I mean, like when I was a child, I used to hear all these mythological stories and everything from my grandparents, and that tradition is kind of disappearing now with modernization. So, in the current time, films and television programs have been like focusing on mythology a lot. There are so many programs, so it kind of bridges the gap between it, and it's very interesting.
Yeah,
um,
TV is like or TV specifically, because we're sort of, well, we're coming out of the period of like the TV renaissance, but TV has always been a, number one, if not number two way for people to get information. And there's always been a space for, really really good high quality documentaries, that show you beautiful things that you may have never seen before, or that you've always wanted to see but have never gotten a chance to because it's, in a faraway location. Like, you can see these beautiful things, beautiful places, and learn while you are being entertained. So it ticks all the boxes. It's a really interesting medium for conveying information. And I think, because of the way things have gone over the last like decade, and maybe, last 20 years or so, there's really a need for this. And I get people asking me all the time, daily, that what documentaries should they be watching? Where can they find interesting, fun things to watch to learn about the stuff that they're interested in? So, yeah, just kind of waiting on the networks and the big streamers to get their respective acts together so we can make some more TV.
So, what has been your experience? Like, how does the whole production process work? I mean, the projects you have worked on have gone ahead to be nominated for Emmys, which is such a big deal. So,
Yeah,
how was
that
the production process?
it's kind of like the biggest, most chaotic and unruly group project you've ever worked on. It is truly a group and team effort. There are so many people involved, so many moving parts, and everybody in their role contributes to the making of a show. So, like, it's not just one person, it's a whole team of people. And when I think most people don't realize the exact process, just because TV and media and movies do tend to be pretty secretive while they're in production, because obviously, like, they want you to see the final product. It's like, don't really look behind the curtain. Don't worry. Don't look at the under construction part of it. We want you to see the nice finished thing when it's done. See all of our hard work, and enjoy the final product.
Can
So
you
that's
tell us about some of these projects?
yeah. Well, I mean, they're all on my resume. But I mean, I've worked on Expedition Unknown, which is, I think, probably still the number one show on the Discovery Channel. And so that's a fun, sort of more reality TV leaning documentary series. So there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of action, but you're still being entertained and you're learning while you go on this sort of virtual journey with Josh to the places that he's going. Another show that I worked on, which was like the big one, was The Story of God with Morgan Freeman. And that was a different kind of documentary. That was that was a show that was more in the style of a traditional blue chip documentary, as it's called, just sort of like big, lavish, um, beautiful things to look at. It's at a bit of a slower pace, but still entertaining. You're still learning, and you're still seeing all these amazing things and learning what they are, and learning while you're watching. And that was one that was I think that was about 7 to 8 months of work to actually make the whole show. And at the end of it, I mean, we had the full backing of National Geographic because it was a National Geographic show. So we had the full National Geographic train behind us, and they went full court on the press and the promo and everything. And at the end of all of that, we ended up with an Emmy nomination. And so then we got to go to the Emmys. We had to pay for the tickets, but it was came up with I think it was like $500 or something like that. Scrounged up the money because I was like, I'm going to the Emmys, and rented a dress and went there with a small sort of group of us from the team. The executive producer, the main producers, and then a couple of us, other people on the team. I was one of the researchers who were able to afford tickets, and it was great. And we went toe to toe with Anthony Bourdain in the same category, and we lost, but I'm not sad because like losing to Anthony Bourdain is a lifetime honor. So it was like great. Everything was wonderful.
Yeah, such a great experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you are on Instagram a lot, and the films you make are, of course, for a popular audience. So, and you have had a formal training in history and ancient studies. So, how does it affect you when you're reaching out to a more popular audience?
It's ended up being a really fun situation where, because I've had a full background in history and archaeology, in an academic sense, and then I've also had all of this work in a popular media world. I have the ability to translate things from academia, from academic, into plain English, so that we can then work on presenting that in an easily digestible way for a wide audience, so that anybody, tuning into whatever this show is, can understand the concept, and they don't have to worry about it being too complicated, or there being, weird vocabulary words that they're not familiar with, or concepts they're not familiar with because they haven't had a bunch of archaeology classes in, university level settings. And that's a really cool thing, and it's a really unique talent, apparently, as I found over the years, and not everybody can do it. But that's one of the things I like, and that's one of the things that I use TikTok for, which is talking about all these things, which can be very complicated and nuanced topics, in a way that anybody can understand. And, as a way to just sort of understand what's going on, introduce people to whatever the thing is, the time period, the person, the activity, whatever's going on, and be able to understand it. Because at the end of the day, it's really not that complicated. It's just framed in a way often that makes it seem really complicated and inaccessible. But the reality is it's all very accessible, because it's all ultimately people just like us doing things just like we tend to do. And we can absolutely relate to that.
I mean, you have worked on a lot of projects, but Project Nivica especially caught my eye because it's such a fresh concept. So, could you tell our audience about it?
Yeah, so Project Nivica, because Albanian is a fun language, was this really cool project that I've been working on with my friends, who I met when I lived in England and was getting my master's there. And we've been doing it for, I think, like 4 or 5 years now. And it's work that we do in Albania. And it's at this really cool site, which is, on the map, it's a weird little mountain village up in the mountains in sort of central Albania. But it's got so much history there. There has been human activity in this specific area for like at least 2,000 years. So it's got something for everybody. I mean, archaeologically, it's a dream. It's got everything from classical Greek and Roman period stuff to modern conflict archaeology, which is what the boys really like. So World War I, World War II, things like that. It literally has something for everybody. So I'm happy with my Greek and Roman stuff and my ancient coins. The boys are happy with their World War I and World War II stuff. It's great. And then we work with the community as well to find good solutions for them to preserve, conserve, and also display their own history and heritage. So we want everything to stay with the community, to stay there, so that they can share all of their own history with the good people of the world.
That is so important with a lot of history disappearing now and then coming of pseudo history everywhere.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and yeah.
what is your favorite part about working on archaeological sites?
I It's like summer camp for adults. You get to hang out with your friends, you get to dig in the dirt, and I mean, uh, I just really like excavating. I'm one of those people who's like, put a trowel in my hand, just let me go, I'll be happy. Um, and then yeah, the atmosphere is one that is the same as going to summer camp, but you're all adults, so we can be as weird as we want out in the middle of nowhere. No one's gonna bother us. Lots of shenanigans, lots of good times, lots of ridiculousness, plenty of sunburns, and then of course the joy of discovery, because when you find something, it's really fun. So yeah,
Have there been any particular incidents that have, been in your mind?
as far as like excavation good times. I mean, let's see. I think the best ones have probably been anytime I've been able to excavate at a Roman period site, because Romans leave lots of good stuff behind. Stuff falls out of pockets all the time. They do cool. They build big buildings. We love it. I mean, I found bits and pieces of jewelry, so that's always been fun. I think the prettiest things I found have been I don't have a photo of it. I didn't take a photo of it at the time because it was in the time before phone cameras. Um, it was a blue glass inlay, so it would have been something that was set into maybe like a ring or an earring. So it was just the blue, glass gem. And so that was really fun and pretty. And then I found a bronze piece of an earring, which was very big, and it was about this big, and it was clearly like a dangly earring. So I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Someone's jewelry. Like an earring fell apart while someone was walking, ended up in the dirt, and then I get to find it. So that's cool. And then every now and then you find a surprise person. I have found, surprise humans in places where we didn't expect them to be. So that's always been exciting too.
You're also particularly interested in ancient coins and human sticks. So, what's the
Yes.
story behind that?
I just think they're cool. I just really like them. I mean, coins are really cool, and I think they're really pretty. I think there's all sorts of fun shapes and designs that can happen over the year with the history of coinage and money. But archaeologically, they are a dream come true because they have a date. They have you can confidently date a coin based on what it is, what's on it. So that's a perfect thing to have in a layer that you're excavating. You're just like, oh, there we go. We have a name, we have a date, we have a time period, we have people, like a specific people happening in this layer of dirt. So it's just like, boom. It takes all the guesswork out of it. You're just like, it's right there. The coin says exactly what we need to know. It tells us everything. And they're pretty.
So, before we wrap up, is there any other project that you want to promote or maybe remind people where they can find all the good stuff?
The good stuff is usually happening on TikTok these days. I mean, my Instagram is still basically just my personal Instagram, and I don't really do much because I work from home. So this is what's happening. This is the daily excitement. Every now and then I get to go outside, and yeah, TikTok is where the fun is happening these days. And on the side, I also host trips to exciting places with ancient things with this company Trova Trip, and that's probably been the most exciting thing that's happened in my life in the last 2 years. and I've done 2 trips to Egypt already. There's another trip to Egypt that's going to be happening in October, and then I just got to announce the first of the trips for next year, and the first one up is going to be Turkey, and that'll be in April. And I have literally everything linked on my profile. So if anybody wants to come to Egypt or Turkey, please do. We have a bunch of spots open. It's such a great group. I've had literally the best people on these trips every single time, which is something that I wasn't sure about at the beginning. It's like, basically inviting a bunch of internet strangers to come travel with me. So it could very easily go wrong, but I have only had the best people. And like it's been 2 amazing groups of amazing people, and uh yeah, it's the perfect thing for anybody. Like, we have a lot of anxious travelers, we got a lot of neurodivergent travelers, so we can all be our weird selves together and support each other and have a great time in these amazing places. And then, like, yeah, there's a photo there. Me at the pyramids. We can go see the pyramids. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's also a great opportunity to learn from each other, of course, spending so much time with it. So
Yeah,
scan the QR, people.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I just wanted to remind our audience that our summer reading groups have started and we have a great lineup this year. So please scan the QR right there and RSVP to the ones you like. And of course, if you're interested, scan the little QR in the upper left corner to donate to SASA and support our programming. And then on the right hand side, you can find Annelise's socials. And that is all. Thank you for watching and have a great day or night.